As I look upon my life, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams. As I look upon my life, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dream.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Yay. Greetings this morning on this beautiful summer's day. I hope that you are tuned in, and I trust that our regulars are online. And we just want to thank you once again for tuning in. You are on the Inside Show with none other than Talk with Joan Thursdays. Yeah, so yes, today we're having a bittersweet type of conversation here this morning. Remember, this month was how to keep the love flame burning. So we spoke about the beginning. We spoke about the things, how the love flame started. We spoke about how to, the hindrances, that actually dims that flame, the love flame. So today we're actually speaking on after your loved one or your partner died, right? So is there still that love for the partner who actually passed on? And I think it's a very interesting topic because it was always on my mind, to be quite honest with you. I always thought, I wonder how is it? And it's always good to speak to someone who went through it and who can actually, because I always tell my husband, I always ask, we always talk about death. We always talk about, I wonder who's going to leave first, who's gonna die first. And then I will say to him, well, I won't be here, so you can carry on with your life. But I know for sure, when it comes to me, it will never happen. This was my first love, and this is the love that I have.
This is it for me.
And that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So today we have someone in the studio with us, a dear friend to me that actually who lost her husband. And I actually asked her the question, does the love really die? Because it's after death. So now, before we get into it, you know that we actually also start off with the mirror thing. So if you can get out your mirror while these ladies are just going to introduce themselves and just say hi to you right before we start with the program. So if your mirror is out, I'm going to just give the ladies an opportunity. Leanne is back with us here last week. It actually felt like it's been long. But it was only 1 week that she wasn't here. So, she's back with us here. My co-host, Leanne, and then my guest. So I'm going to ask Leanne just to say hi to you guys, and then our guest will introduce herself and say hi.
Hey ladies, and yes, I did miss Thursday very much. I managed to sneak a peek in on the show, and you guys were on fire, Joan.
Yay.
You guys were really cool.
I had Lady S
Yes,
here, right?
yes, and she's always a treat for me. But we're good to be on Talk Thursdays with Joan, and as usual, it's one of my favorite days, and I'm so excited to not only have this conversation with Sylvia, but just to, talk about this, because like Joan says, it has been a good month to have some real conversation, hey? So
Absolutely
stay tuned and share.
Well, good morning, ladies, and good morning to all the viewers. Good morning to my host, Joan and Leanne. I'm so glad to be here this morning, and like you said, it's a bittersweet discussion this morning for me.
Yes, true.
But I believe it's a good time for me to have this discussion because I had all my first, and I think at this point in my life, I just need to be more open of where I am at the moment. So I hope you enjoy, and let's just get into it.
Hey, that's already
Right, that's good. So your mirror's out. Please, guys, I would like to ask the question. Seeing that it is October already, I don't know about you, but this year like flew. It went like fast. Like it's really like, woo.
Yeah.
It was January the other day.
Yeah. It was January
It's October
yesterday.
already, right? So, what is your prep for December? Seeing that it's, you can say a month, then the children's at home.
Yeah.
So, what is the prep, your prep that you are actually preparing now for December?
Yes.
Because December's just around the corner.
Well, Mira, I have to remind myself to get your acting gear because it's October, and you get these reminders from the stores because Checkers starts putting out Christmas decorations and the malls start putting out their trinkets and their lights and their colors. So there's always a reminder. So you need to heed to that reminder. For me, I like prep, and another reminder is the schools. The schools start sending out things for next year, and sometimes I want to just hold on a bit, just give it a few more weeks.
Wow.
But it's like promptings. It's like psychological promptings to you to get your holiday season on. So there are a couple of things that I do. I go to the calendar. I check out the dates that I need to major on. I think about the ministry dates. I'm sure you ladies can attest to that.
Yeah.
So I get those dates. I try and get those preps in. I still have young kids, so we have to think about budgeting for clothing, and then you have to start working out your Christmas arrangements so that I need to be able to fork out 20 gifts or 30 gifts. So it's always it's a financially taxing season. So I
Absolutely
think
so.
now is a good time to count your pennies. And then, so that's what I do. And then I also try and do school stuff in November. So this is really a prep month. So I'm feeling it, and I do kind of love it.
Oh, wonderful. And then over to Sylvia.
Okay, Mara. At the moment, you're looking at somebody being a bit nervous. But anyway, pardon me. This year has been, I said to somebody now the other day, this year has been a long year for me,
Yeah.
and it has been a short year. Long year in the sense that it's a year since the passing of my husband, Lee, and I said I posted something on Facebook when it was his anniversary, the passing of his anniversary, and I said, the first year, Joan, went longer for me than the 52 years that I've known him.
Wow.
So this year wasn't very easy for me, and but I feel I'm at the place where I just need to not get over it, but just be more easier on myself. So this year hasn't been very easy for me, and I'm stepping into something new now, in the fact that I not want to move on with my life, because I don't think that I'll ever do that, but just carry on.
Yeah.
So it's been a long year, but it has also been a short year in terms of having to do things, and being alone without him now. We used to do ministry together.
Yeah.
All the years, and now that he's not here, I feel as if I'm starting all over again.
Yeah.
It's a new baby that has been born.
Yeah,
People
true.
need to get to know my personality more. It was there all the years, but now it's in the fore, and I think it's a bit challenging for me also.
Yeah.
So things are just going too fast for me now.
Yeah.
I feel that I just have to step back, take a nice breather, and then carry on. As far as prep is concerned, I'm a stickler for prep as well. I like prep. I don't do anything without prep, Joan. And at this
Yeah,
point,
that's good.
there's such a lot of things for me to do.
Yeah.
And it's as if the year is just going too fast. Because as far as ministry concerned, we have quite a few things that we need to do. And sometimes I think my time is not enough. My
Yeah.
time is just not enough.
Yeah.
But I'm getting there, and I'm looking forward to December because I love that season.
You love the
I've
holiday
always
season.
loved Christmas season. Ever since a little girl, I used to love it. I used to love it in my marriage. I still love it, and I'm looking forward to it. Well, last year was the first year without my husband, and I think this year it could be a little better.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so guys, our topic this morning is after your love is gone. So yeah, I know we actually had our first, and I think I sent to a lot of people the first thingy we had topic. We actually called it love after death, right? And then Sylvia actually said to me, "Oh, Joni, just now the people's gonna think I have now new love."
Oh, and I'm still very far from that, Joan. As a matter of fact, I don't want new love at all, because my first one was so specially. It really was special. My husband and I met when I was only 15. We started
Yeah,
dating when I
true.
was 16 years.
Oh, Lord, it's a lifetime.
It's a lifetime.
Jeez.
And got married soon after, and we've been together for over 52 years. So I'm not
Sure.
looking forward
Ay,
to doing
caramba.
anything
You
else.
actually had to discover yourself without him, it sounds like.
Yeah, but it's
For all
true,
that
because
time.
It's
Yeah.
true, eh?
because your life was basically
Yeah.
52 years. Remember now?
Yes.
52 years
That's
of your
so great.
life
Lifetime.
is a
It
lifetime.
is,
eh?
and you guys were together in impressionable seasons of your life.
Goodness
So
me.
that is youth. That means you like almost grew up together.
Yeah.
We grew up
Forming,
together.
and then you
Yeah.
definitely, developed a union that is quite one. That is talking about oneness. 52 years, Joan. That is
2
oneness.
years.
Yeah, so
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
you're going to get there too, Joan.
Oh,
God
You're
willing.
going to get
definitely.
there too.
God
willing.
And maybe
God
even
willing.
exceed it.
Yeah, God willing.
Yeah, God willing.
I think he's coming. He's coming. One of these days he's coming. So I don't even know. Eh?
You're talking about Jesus now?
Yeah, Jesus
Oh,
is
yeah.
coming, man.
I'm so looking forward to that, eh?
So I don't know really. Right. So now, guys, I don't know what actually sparked the conversation was. I always think a lot of things. This mind is working sometimes over time, and I always think. I wonder, because you see, I saw a lot of people who moves on immediately. Then I see after their life partners passed on.
Yeah.
And then I see others take years.
Yeah.
And then I see others take at least a year.
Yeah.
To move on with their lives. And I always ask myself the question, I wonder how does it feel? Is it really, and I actually want to say what I actually wrote down. Are we still married after the death of one partner, right? Because we say at the wedding vows, we say, till death do us part.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
So till death do us part is a part of all traditional marriage ceremonies. But I can't help but wonder if it is really true. Do our vows and our relationships really end at death? Right? So do we really part from those we love the most? Like in your case, 52 years of marriage. Do we really part? You know what I'm saying? I can understand that our faithful relationships and obligations may come to a completion at death. But I'm not so sure much else comes to sudden halt. Does it just halt there? Does it just end there? The person that you knew for all the years, does love just end there? Because there was a spark in the beginning. You say you were 15 years old. You are married 52 years old. And I cannot imagine. My mind is now
Forever.
going, it's
Even
racing.
my lifetime.
It's racing now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's really someone you knew for all your life, though. And now does it really come to an end? Does it really just stop there? And so if you ask someone who just lost their spouse, like in the case of Sylvie, if they are still married, and indeed, they would say, others will say, yes. Others, I think, will say, yeah, but no. You know what I'm saying? Because others moved on already, and we don't have anything against that. please get it clear. We don't have anything against people who moves on with their lives, because to me that is also a healing process. So I'm gonna ask the first question. Right, Sils? All to you. How do you feel? Are you still married?
Absolutely, Joan. Somebody asked my marital status, I think it was a couple of months ago. And I said to them that I am widowed and not single. So I am absolutely still married. As you can see, I still wear my wedding ring.
Yes.
And I am absolutely still married. I don't know if some people will not understand me now, or if they will understand, but I feel that His presence has never left me. I don't know if it's biblical. Maybe you can crucify me for that. I don't know. But I feel His presence all the time. My children, I live alone. And my children want to very often take me away, Leanne. And I just want to be in my space. Because when I am in my space, I feel that He's there. He's not away, He's not gone, He's with me. And to me, Joan, I think I will be forever married.
Okay.
It was my first love, so to speak. Well, I had, the puppy love.
Yeah.
You get the puppy love where you kiss somebody with a closed mouth and things like that. Now, he wasn't like that. We went further than just the closed mouth kissing, and that's why we ended up for 52 years. So I think I'll be forever married. Honestly, I don't feel like getting another partner in my life. What we had was just too special. Like I said to somebody, he actually reared me. But in a sense, I reared him as well.
Yeah,
because
did.
I was
Yeah,
only
both,
16
yeah.
and he was 18.
Yeah.
And we got our first, I was 17 and he was only 19. So
when you got
when
your
I got
first
my
child?
first baby. Yeah,
Okay.
Antoinette. Yeah, I was, like I said, 17 and he was just 19. So we grew up together, so to speak. All the good times we had together. The bad times, the struggles, the first of everything we had together. And it's just something that you cannot forget. For me, it's very, very difficult.
And you were always together.
That's the other thing, Joan.
Going to whatever event, you were always together.
Yes.
But now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
he's not there.
He's not there. You know what, Joan's talking about always together, Leanne? I went to a conference that he was supposed to go with me, and I went alone. And would you believe, Leanne, that when I was without him, nobody actually recognized me? Because we were always together.
Yeah.
And one person came up to me and said to me, "Where's your shadow? I don't see your shadow."
I don't see it, yeah.
Yeah, and we were always together, and that's why I say it was so difficult for me
Yeah.
when he passed on.
So
He
I can
always
just
used to tell me
imagine,
though,
huh?
Joan, jy gaan my nog mis. Dan sê ek, nee, wie ek? And I'm eating my words today.
Oh, no.
I miss him
Wow.
so much. You cannot believe
I
it.
can just imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Sylvia, from listening just to your account of your position and how you feel, it is quite endearing. And I'll tell you why. It's because it's almost a lost value. A lost value in this day and age.
You couldn't describe it better.
Yeah. You have, if I could use another term outside of being married, it would be a heart of devotion, a heart of devotion for your love. It would be, you have cherished the time that you had
Yeah.
together. In other words, you have acknowledged the sacredness and sanctity of marriage to the extent where you are prepared for that to be your story. You don't need another. It doesn't need to be supplemented. It doesn't need to be added. That
Absolutely.
was good enough, and that was it. And that's a remarkable strength in itself, because you find that people who have been with another person so long, it feels like an appendage has been taken off, and so the first instinct is to replace it, so that
Yeah,
you can
very
feel
true,
whole
yeah,
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have this is your first year, and I think a lot of the time that you have had to spend would be just learning how to be without him, or
Yeah.
just experiencing the absence of his space, and that's incredible. It takes
That
a
is,
remarkable
wa-
person to,
Absolutely
go
so.
through that and still have a heart of devotion.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to get over it if you think about
Oh
it.
yeah,
But
and
it's
you
so much
can.
harder to
Yeah,
cherish a love that you
absolutely
had.
So.
So that's exceptional.
Absolutely so. And I think I'm not very sure. How do you feel with regards to the vow that says till death do us part? Is it true? Is it real? Is it right?
Well, in the physical, till death do us part do happen because I don't have him here. I don't
Yeah,
feel his
it's
embrace.
parted.
I maybe this is okay. Let me not share that. Okay, let me share it. Let me just be open.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
that's
this
let's
is
do
a
this.
real
Let's
show,
do this.
right? This is a real
this
show.
is the real show. I used to sleep with my legs over him.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Even if I was
Did the
stunned.
spider
Yeah.
monkey.
And even when I got fat, there were days when he wanted to just throw my legs over and said, listen, yeah, I'm tired. But then he'd find himself just putting it back again, him. So in the physical,
Yeah.
that is there,
Right.
where death has parted us.
Right.
But as far as my emotions is concerned, in how I feel,
Yeah.
he has not passed on, Joni. The memories are still so vivid. The memories are still so clear in my mind. When I look at my sons, my eldest son
Yeah,
look
look like him.
look
yeah.
like him.
And talks like him.
And
sounds
talks like him. He has this humor. And
No,
let me
it's
just talk
true,
about the
eh?
humor. I miss my husband's humor so much. He had a dry sense of humor, Leanne.
Yeah.
I think you would have enjoyed him as well.
Yeah.
A very dry sense of humor. But he used to crack me. And the children always used to say, but Mommy, you laugh for your husband's jokes, even if it was old jokes. I said, because it's the way he says it.
Yeah. He's just struck a chord with
He
your
just
heart.
struck a chord with me. So, in that sense, Joan, it really is a sad day for me.
Yeah, I
I
can
just can't
imagine,
get
yeah.
over, and I miss his presence. I miss who he is. Well, every marriage has got its own difficulties sometimes. We different personalities. We have different personalities, and sometimes we rub one another the wrong way. But that's just marriage.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
But who he is, I just miss.
What
I
is the
just
most?
miss
What
him.
is the most memorable things that you can think about?
There is so much, Joni. You know what? If I have to tell you, then I'm going to have to write a book about it. But there were memorable days. But the one thing that comes to mind that was just absolutely,
Indelible.
I don't even know what word to describe here,
Yeah.
Leanne. I think it was in recession. I think, and we were married about, okay, let me not say the year, I'm not sure. But my youngest son was born in that year, and we lived in Extension 4 at the flats at the time. And I wasn't working. The younger son was just born, and he was working. But those years, the salaries wasn't very good.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so it was a very bad period in our life.
Yeah. It's broekskeer.
Broekskeer like you cannot believe it. So much so, I think that very year, my youngest son was just a little, I think it was about 6 months, so much so that I had to go take a job that didn't suit me at all. But let me not go into that. I want to tell you the story about hoe dit broekskeer gegaan het,
Ja.
Leanne. And it was my birthday, and he didn't have anything. And he was somebody that did little things
Yeah.
to just make you happy.
Yeah.
And this particular morning, he left early. And when I woke up, I looked in the mirror. My mirror was right opposite our bed. And I knew it was my birthday. He hadn't wished me. And I was quite
Yeah,
cut up about
Because
it.
you just left. You
He
woke
just
up
left.
alone on your birthday.
It's my birthday. And he just
Yeah.
left. And then I looked over into the mirror.
Yeah.
And he wrote me the most beautiful
Message.
message
Wow.
with my
In
lipstick.
lipstick, yeah.
with my lipstick. And that was the most precious. And you know what? I cried that day, the whole day.
I hope it wasn't for your lipstick.
Not for the lipstick, but for the message
Yeah.
and the fact that I thought he didn't think about me.
Yeah.
And he displayed it in such a beautiful manner, knowing that he didn't have a cent even to buy me a sweet on that particular
Oh, that's
day.
so precious.
And that's a memory that I will always treasure.
I think someone's love language is acts of service here.
Yeah, yo.
No, that is beautiful. It is something to treasure and remember. And more so, I think the heart that he had, and even in times of difficulty. But on the spectrum of grief, because that's the immediate severing of a life, to the place of where you feel like I can be okay now. On that spectrum of healing, where would you say that you are now? Do you think you've made it to the end, or you teetering somewhere in the middle? Because they say there's stages of that type of grief.
Like I said, it's been my first year now.
Yeah.
So I still think I am in grief, to be very, very honest.
Yeah.
That particular day, on his anniversary, I just couldn't handle it, because I had to just carry on. My husband and I were both senior pastors, just like you and Dr. Carl Joan. We were both senior pastors in ministry. So I never took over the ministry. I just carried on.
Yeah.
You know? So, help me again, what was the point? Sorry?
On your journey to
Where are you?
do you think you've arrived?
Where are you in your grieving process?
Where are you in your steps?
So I'm still very much in my grieving process. I think what helped me a little bit was the fact that I just had to carry on with ministry.
Yeah,
But
because
my
there was a
personal-
demand on your
Yeah,
time.
there was a demand on my time, and I had to just carry on. But my personal life still hit me. Like I said, my children want to come and fetch me ever so often, Joni, and then I would just tell them, leave me, because when I feel like crying, then I just cry.
Okay. Yeah.
Like on his anniversary, I went into the cupboard and I took, I was his caregiver for many, many years, because he got his first heart attack in 2010.
Yeah.
So up until now, how many years?
Yeah.
12 years?
Yeah.
12 years.
12
So
minus
I was
one.
his caregiver, but he had a special tracksuit when we went to see the doctor
Okay.
that he
Comfortable.
always wanted to put on. And techies. He didn't want to go in. He didn't want to go anywhere near a doctor if he did not wear that. So I told him, why only this one? In any case, so I took out that tracksuit, Joni, and I laid it right next to where he used to lay.
Yeah.
And I
Snuggled
cried.
with it.
I snuggled with it, and I cried my heart out, and then I felt better. But I still feel the grief. I still feel the sadness. I still feel that I'm still not ready to move on.
Yeah. Okay. Move on to something different, or move on by just being okay.
Okay, to do something different, I don't think will happen now. But I'm still not at the point where I feel okay.
Yeah. And that's fair. You know,
To be very honest.
we had was it Janola on the
Yeah.
show? And she had gone through an earthly separation, should we say, because they got divorced. She suffered a divorce. And she mentioned that she mourned her divorce for 5 years. And that was a person who was alive. So there isn't a time frame.
No, there's no time
There
frame.
isn't a time
There's
frame
no
of
time frame
what
for
is
grief.
acceptable and
No.
what isn't acceptable. What is the point is that when you reach the place where you are okay for yourself and for the people around you, then I think that's the time where wholeness has arrived in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there isn't a time. But I think that you're being exceptionally brave in how you're dealing with it, because that is quite an intimate expression of grief, laying next to someone's tracksuit, because, you know, it speaks of them. There's a familiarity, and, you know, hopefully there was a bit of scent on there.
He used to
Yeah,
love
because
cologne.
you smell most, you smell
Yeah.
that.
Yes, yes.
He
And
loved cologne. He always used to tell everybody, please don't buy me anything except cologne.
yeah.
So he would, on a Sunday morning, I always told him that you're doing this for the ladies, né? And not for me. So all his clothing, I can just open his cupboard,
And you can still get his
and then
essence.
just get the essence of who he
So
is.
did you already packed his cupboard
I
out?
just
And
can't.
did you get rid of his clothing
I
and
just
stuff?
can't get myself to do that.
Yeah, it is difficult.
It is very, very difficult. Honestly, it's very, very difficult for me. And we're running a program now where we're reaching out to the community just right next to us, KD. We call it the KD, Makersidorp. We're reaching out to that community, and we are making food parcels and then clothing that we have to pack.
Yeah, and you think I can give you so much, but I
I
don't
can
want
give you
to.
so much, but I can't get myself to do it.
Yes.
So one of my boys actually suggested that they all be with me
Yeah.
when I
that's
do it.
always
So
It
yeah,
is.
so
the
I'm
best,
looking
yeah.
forward to doing it. So I'm
Yeah,
not there
so you
yet,
must
Joan.
actually get a day where you're gonna have to. I'm asking that. It's not that you are gonna get new love tomorrow, but it's just one of the
step,
steps
yeah, in your
that you
process.
take to get wholeness,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't hang on to those things.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You have to also let go. And I know it takes time, but you have to put yourself into that where you say, you know what, someone else can do with this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of it hanging here in a cupboard and the man is not here to wear it. You know what I'm saying? You actually have to depart with those things. Let go of it, because that is a
reminding
step to
you, yeah.
healing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It
Because it's always
I get
gonna
you.
push you back. It's always gonna push you back, and you can fall into depression afterwards, and crying and say, where are you? You know, the reason why I'm saying this is I saw it.
Yes.
I saw it with an aunt of mine. Her daughter passed on for many years. She still had her clothing. Still packed that room. Still packed her clothing. After many years, until she passed on.
Sure.
So I think it is something that you have to do to move further.
move on,
To
yeah.
move
You do,
further.
yeah, you do. I think that the cases
Yeah.
of it's definitely a question of time and perhaps an acceptance, and let there be a willingness. My mom passed away, and so my dad is a widow now, and they had been married for 38 years. And one of the steps, and I also sensed a discomfort in him, because I'm like I can be like a tornado. I can just go into a situation and,
Yeah.
just move and change things around. And then I did sense that there was some kind of trepidation from him. It was uncomfortable for change to happen too fast. And so he would leave my mom's things for a period of time. And then the next step for him was he would have her sisters and close family come take like the precious things,
Yeah, things-
like the
Yeah.
the leather
Yeah.
items
Yeah.
and the expensive bags
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So he felt that the people closest to her should have that kind of
Yeah.
option, and so that was the first thing that he allowed. And then he'd also leave the clothes again for a while, and then he would go through it periodically.
Yes.
And then he would put a box aside, and he said, "Okay, you can take that." So it was there was definitely an acceptance, but there was a discomfort initially. So in other words, it had to happen in kind of bite sizes so that he could manage his grief, because because really that's what you have of them. It's
Exactly.
their stuff
That's
and
the
their essence.
physical,
Yes.
like I said.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I recall a moment of like that myself. My mum passed, I think it could have been months, and my father also kind of just left everything exactly as she left it. And I would kind of lay in her cupboard. No, because you could still smell
Yeah,
the
you
person.
do, yeah.
Yeah, you could just kind of stick
You
your
do,
head in the
yeah.
cupboard and you
Yeah.
could smell it for a while. And, I probably did that once or twice. But what you're saying is so important to understand, Pastor John, because it takes you back to a place. And that place can often attract
Yeah.
Negative
Yeah.
things like
Yeah.
depression,
Definitely,
you've
most
mentioned.
definitely.
And it can attract new strongholds,
Yeah.
like now you feel
Yeah.
abandoned.
You're actually living with the dead.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It actually is that, because you put your mind
Yeah. Back.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
You feel that he's here now.
Yeah.
But reality tells you he's not here.
He's not here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It will never be the same again. So the minute you get used to the idea that, you know what, he's not here anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can actually move on quicker. And the quicker you become whole, the better. Now, why is this phone ringing?
So let me just come back to having to pack.
Yeah.
I think I'm not that extreme like your aunt was. I'm not that extreme. It's just that it's difficult. Hence, my son said maybe we should all do it together.
And that will
And the
help.
other thing that's also a bit difficult for me, I only have one granddaughter and 7 grandsons, and this baby girl was born on my husband's birthday.
Yeah.
So they had a very, very close
Close
bond as
bond,
well.
yeah.
And she would come also, open the cupboard just like you do, Leanne.
Yeah, and stick her
Go
head in it.
Stick her head in the cupboard and just like, Papa, I still smell you. So
Yeah.
that makes it difficult for me as well, you know. But I'm definitely not that extreme. I know that I have to
Yeah,
to
true.
move on. And I'm also a very positive person. So I wouldn't like to get into a depressive mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to be alone. So when I'm alone, I cry. I cry my heart out, get myself up, dust myself off, and I carry on with what I have to do.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't like to go into that trap
Yeah.
where I cannot move on.
Yeah,
I
true.
want to move on, honestly, because I'm a very, very positive person. And I
pro-life.
think I'm for life. And I think there's still so much for me to do as well.
Yeah, absolutely so.
So much to do as well. I've
Yeah.
still got all my grandchildren. My granddaughter's only
Yeah.
10. She's just danced at the second competition now.
I saw, congratulations.
Yeah, man. And that was his dream. He always wanted to see her dance competitions because we took care of her since the age of 2 until she had to go to school, I think. And we knew what she was. We knew that this was going to be a special girl. She's a creative. She's an artist. She's going to be a singer. That kind of a little girl she was. And that makes it so difficult for me just to close that chapter of having to pack away the clothes and, you know.
But don't you think when you do it, she's going to move on too?
I think
I'm
so
just
too.
throwing it
Yeah.
in. I'm just
Yeah.
throwing it in.
Yeah.
And you know what?
And
the-
maybe
the
I should just
family-
make a date.
Yeah, you
Tell
have to.
my
You see, when
children, make a
my-
date.
Your family tend to take the cue from
That's
you
true.
as
That's
well.
true.
Yeah.
Because I remember when my dad passed on, it was very difficult for my mum
Yeah.
because they were together 60 years. And they were married for 60 years. And it was very difficult for her because that was her companion, that was her everything.
Yeah.
So we actually saw that, you know. But there was one day, and she didn't take long because in our family, I think it's different because even with my sister, the children just phoned us and said to her siblings now,
Yeah.
especially the girls, you know, the aunt's children and everybody. I didn't go to my sister's packing out with us with the clothing, but everybody else went. But with my mother, she called the guys
And said, come.
and said, okay, you come. He still had closed shirts
Yeah, gifts and
and
things
you know,
that he-
gifts
Yeah.
that he got, hankies, vests, stuff like that. So she packed it all out and she said, okay, you guys can see like
Yeah.
your dad did,
Yeah, decide.
Yeah.
you know, and then the rest of the things her sons helped her with, you know.
Yeah.
They actually took everything out for her. And they placed everything. They called the people who was close to him, you know, who's also now of late. They also came, you know, with the suits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My brothers took whatever they wanted.
So it
and
was
things
difficult,
like that.
but she did.
She did, yeah.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
did. And then with my brother and with my sister, I don't even know. I don't know whether my brother's wife already packed his things out, but I'm sure maybe she did. But with my sister, it was different And that is why today I'm wearing her shirt.
top, yeah.
This is her top, and I put it on
Wonderful.
specifically for the show.
For the show.
You know, because
Yeah,
I
you can
also
identify
I can
with it
identify.
intimately,
I can
yeah.
identify because she was very close to me, very special to me. Ooh, glory! And as I can relate to you that yes, sometimes you smell them, sometimes you actually hear their voices.
Yeah.
You know, I have a voice note that is not so good that I had to take off when she was that day in the hospital. I had to take that voice note off because it was a negative one
Yeah, I was thrown
where she
into
said she wants
despair and
to go
anguish, yeah.
home.
Yes.
You know, because she's not well in this hospital. And so that thing sparked something within me. That was negative. So
Yeah.
I thought, I must
Let
get
me
rid
go.
of this thing. Must get rid of it. My husband helped me in that because I felt, hey, it's still, but
Yeah,
her
you want
jokes.
to cherish something, but you
She used to make a lot of jokes.
Yeah.
She had a very funny sense of humor.
Yeah.
So with her jokes,
Yeah.
with the ladies' gatherings and stuff like that, ek lag baie keer alleen.
That's what happens to me.
Because of the way she used to say things, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And even with my other sister who passed on first, we all just went, everybody took something that is sentimental. I am still holding, the things are not okay as yet, but I'm still holding on to that until I now realized, I think it was last year,
yeah.
I said, no, man, Joan, these things just makes the place full. Get rid of these things. Someone else can wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is true. Sometimes
Yeah.
you do need new, and I'll tell you why. Or for me, it's like a conversion. So you mentioned two things. You meant the voice note that
Yeah.
caused you such a lot
Yeah.
of grief, and then you mentioned the laughter and her jokes.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you take the memory of someone and you mourn the thing that was difficult.
Yeah.
But then you convert the big days and the
With the
special days,
positive.
and you put it back into the positive. It's like for my first, after I lost my mom, I was fully prepared to be miserable on Christmas. I didn't mind. I thought, let me give you this. Let me give you this day. Let me give you this year. On her birthday, I was fully prepared to be miserable. So all the big days, I was fully prepared to give. Because I wanted to stop. I didn't want to live as if she didn't exist and just let it be. So there were things I sacrificed in the first year, and I said, that's fine. I'm fully prepared to do that. But when the second year came, I wanted to convert it. So then I would take things that she had, special dishes, and I would make things that she made, and then I would convert it into absolute joy.
Yeah.
And now on her birthday, I don't light a sorrowful candle. I light a pretty candle, and I put flowers
Yeah.
there instead. So I just try to convert everything that was difficult
Yeah.
for me
Yeah,
into
yeah.
something that made me remember and reflect on her
Yeah.
better, so that I could still keep, the heart of
Absolutely
devotion
so.
towards, my affection towards her.
Yes.
And my dad does the same thing. He my mom passed, and so he's not married anymore. He's a widow, but he would still wear his wedding ring. And, it would irritate people sometimes. And then he would tell them, don't let it irritate you. It's my wedding ring.
Absolutely.
It's my ring.
Yeah.
And he refused to change anything in his home reflecting her. Like I'm talking about the pictures
Yeah.
and the stuff, the
Yeah.
story of their life
Yeah.
together. He refuses to change it, and not in an unhealthy way, in a way that speaks that I remember this life we had. I remember it, and when your grandkids come here, they see, and it's reflective on there. So it's like conversion for me.
Yes.
It's conversion from the difficult into the celebratory.
Yes, true.
And that helps a lot, I think, in grief.
Yeah, so why do you still wear your wedding ring?
Because I still feel I'm married.
Okay.
I don't know how we're going to be. I think the scripture says there'll be no husband and wife. But I have a small thing that I want to ask Jesus. Please let me just be next to him.
There's a joke like that when this husband and wife, they were so in love and devoted and everything else like that. And so the husband precedes in death, and then the wife joins later up in heaven, and then she gets to the gate and she sees St. Peter. She goes, no, just go call Dan there. And so Dan comes to the gate, and then he says, the scripture is very clear, until death do we part. So I hope you get your answer, and I hope it's favorable for you.
Yeah, no. I'm actually so glad I came on the show, hey? I'm very, very glad because there are certain things now that you speak about. Joan, I'm not sure how long your sister's passed and your mom has passed. 2 years?
No,
So,
five
5 years
this year,
already.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm only in my first.
Yes.
And this is a learning curve for me, things that I can take away now and just go and do now.
Yeah.
That's why I always tell, in fact, the people in the church, if you get to a place where you can't learn from somebody else, you are just doomed.
Yeah.
So here I am, and I'm so glad that I accepted the invitation to come onto the show and just speak, because now I feel there's a lot of things that I can take away from the show
Yeah.
and just go and implement now.
yeah.
I think what's also a bit difficult in unpacking the cupboards is the fact that my boys are smaller built than what my husband was.
Yeah, so you can't actually see them
I
being
can't
blessed
even
by
say
his stuff. Yeah.
nothing, not unless it's the
Wow.
watches, the jewelry.
Yeah.
I still have his wedding ring as well. If it was fitting me, I think I would have worn it as well, but it doesn't. So I think that makes it a bit difficult. But I'm gonna really follow up on the fact that my son said we must do it together as a family, and maybe sooner than later.
Yeah.
We always used to come together, potluck together,
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
haven't
that's
done
nice.
it for quite a while because we always just go to internets. That's my eldest daughter. And we just go to
Yeah.
ever since the passing of my husband, we haven't been to me.
Yeah.
So now I think I've just got to bring them to me.
Yeah, that's
With
that
our
would
potluck,
be excellent.
and
That's
then
another
just
good.
do it.
Do you know
Yeah.
that
That's very
my
good.
mom's sisters found it very difficult to go to her house after her death
Mm-hmm.
because they would say, it's
Me
like she's
too,
still
right?
here.
Yeah.
Me too. I must be honest with you. It took a while for me
Yeah.
to actually go there.
To our
and
house.
the other day, her son and his wife lives there now, so they invited my sister and I
Yeah. And you went.
to come there. Yo, I went into a room. I went because I wasn't there since
Were you choked up?
she passed. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
To be quite honest,
Yeah.
because you know, before she passed on, she actually invited me to come there
Yeah.
because my sister couldn't make it, and then I went with Sandy, and we actually said she prepared a table for us.
Yeah.
And without you thinking, because she was fine. She wasn't sick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But she even baked.
She pulled out all the
She-
stops.
If she set the table
Yeah.
for us, and all that came back. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
Our house is still the way she left it,
Yeah.
to be quite honest with you. So it is things like that. But I honestly, that day, I made a conscious decision in my mind that she's no longer.
Yeah. You went and you changed that for yourself.
Yeah, I changed it.
And then I'll
I
tell you,
totally changed
I'll tell
it.
you a surprising thing that happened. So while the extended family and everyone else is grieving, because you know you get those central people in a family, and I assume it could have been like that for you guys as well, because you were the ministers and the lead pastors
Yes.
of a church. So my mom was an elder, or an eldest in our family, and you kind of gravitated towards her.
Right.
So our home was always, it was the place where people gravitated towards,
Yes.
and it was one of the places where family would gather. So when everyone felt it difficult to come, so that was their feelings. But then you know what it did to my dad? It gave him a feeling of rejection, because he was also used to having this influx of people in his home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now
so.
everyone is struggling and
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
staying
yeah,
away, and it's
yeah.
like, I'm still alive,
Yeah.
and I'm still here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the person that's left behind, which will be you in
That's
this case.
true, no?
They also need that kind
That's
of love
true.
and support. It's like we'll all grieve for the passed on one.
Now,
But
with
I'm
my
still
sister,
here.
it was the same thing.
Yeah.
Everybody went to her.
Yes.
When we have family gatherings, it's by her place.
Yeah.
You know, so it was exactly this. She was the spokesperson. If there's a feud between two siblings, she was the one that said, nonsense.
Stop this.
Stop
Yeah.
this thing. She was that type
Yeah.
of person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can speak to
Yeah.
her with regards to anything, you know, and that was the type of person she
Yeah.
was. But
And I find myself in the very same position, both what you mentioned now and what you mentioned, Leanne. To date,
Yeah.
I haven't seen from both sides,
Yeah.
my family and his family. And lucky my children are so close to me.
Yeah. Otherwise, you could
Wow.
feel abandoned.
I would have felt abandoned.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that my children are so close, the children are so there for me.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what I need. They'll be there. They'll leave everything
Yeah.
just to get to me when I feel discomfort. But like I said, I like to be alone. So I like my own time, my own space as well.
Yeah.
But they are there. They are there. And I think the ministry also helped. I think
Yeah, I
the
wanna now go
ministry
over
helped
to
a
that,
lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't just abandon. I
You
had
couldn't,
to,
yeah.
I had to carry
In
on.
fact, you wouldn't even know how to do that.
I wouldn't know how to do it, and I think that also helped a lot.
It kept you going.
Yeah,
up,
it kept me going. But what I want to share with you is the week of his the passing of his anniversary.
Yeah.
That was very difficult for me. Like I said, I took out his tracksuit. I didn't want to see anything.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see anybody, and then my room just started to cramp down on me.
Yeah.
And I cried and I sobbed. I told our assistant pastor, Pastor D, you just have to carry on. I'm not going to be here.
Yeah. I
And
need this
lucky
week.
we take turns. I preach for a month and I allow him to preach for the month, for the other month. And lucky for me, he preached. It was his turn for preaching. And I said to him, I'm not going to be here. Please make apologies. I'm going to ask internet to just come and fetch me so that I don't have to be around. Because everything just came down on me. I couldn't handle my space that week. I couldn't. I took off for the whole week. I think it was a week. I went to internet for the whole week.
Was
I
it
couldn't-
because you realized that is no longer?
I think so. Maybe that was something that I didn't think about. I realized that he's
Because
no
something
longer.
triggers it.
And the year,
Yeah,
the fact
that
that,
was
it's
the
a
trigger,
year,
I think.
Yeah.
that could have been a trigger.
Yeah.
I think that could have been a trigger, and I didn't realize it at the time.
Yeah.
You know?
You didn't know why. Why am I feeling
Why
like
am I
this?
feeling this way? Because I was sort of like almost not strong. I had my
but
days.
you were coping.
But I was coping.
Yeah.
And I think the ministry didn't allow me just to fall down and stay dead.
Yeah.
You know? But I was coping, but that particular week was very, very strenuous. It was sad, it was dreary, almost in a state of depression, and I just felt I am not this kind of person. I know I cry when I have to cry, and then I get myself up, dust myself off, and carry on with life. You know?
You know what? That
But
sounds terrible.
This
but
week,
it sounds to me like self-care, because she made provisions in the church. You made provisions in the church to give yourself time. You called your daughter. You gave yourself space, and then you kind of just let go and let be. And sometimes we need that. We need to be
Yeah,
able to
you have to give yourself that space
to
You
fall
have to
apart.
give-
Yeah.
yeah, you have to. I want to come back to because your husband was the bishop of the church, as you said earlier, that you were almost like you were just there, right? He called the
He
shots.
took the lead, yeah.
Right. So. Well, I'm saying calling the shots.
Yeah.
He took
yeah,
the
it's the
lead.
same thing, yeah. Same
The
thing,
lead.
Joni, the lead.
Right, right.
Call the shots.
Yeah.
Good with me as well.
So now he suddenly
gone.
is gone.
Did you guys have a conversation?
How did you
before?
feel?
Yeah.
Well, we were quite prepared because
Okay.
I think 3 years before his passing, we also had a scare.
Okay.
So we were quite prepared, okay? But the one thing that I know is he didn't want me to go through the stress that he
Of
wanted.
pastoring.
Yeah, that he went through. So, and he always used to tell me, I don't know what am I going to do, but I don't see anybody suitable to carry on with what we have and what we still need to do at this point. But I wouldn't want you to go through
the
what
strain and the stress
and the stress, yeah. So to come back to your question is he used to take the lead, but I think, and that's what's so wonderful, both of you will attest to it, when you married, how you can just carry one another's burdens. When there's something that bothers him,
Yeah.
then I would be there. When
well,
there's
you have no
something-
choice. You
Yeah.
are both in it together.
And when there's something
Thanks for
that
the
bothers
reminder.
me, then he's there for me. So it's it's a bit challenging at the moment because
Because you're your own backstop now.
I'm my own backstop.
Yeah.
I'm my own backstop, and I
And
don't
it's a
have.
different, it's a different,
It's a different-
attitude. It's a
Yeah.
different person. It's a different way of doing things.
Exactly, and that's why I find it challenging because we were two different personalities.
Yeah, absolutely.
My husband is a very laid-back person, very quiet. Well, not quiet, but
Yeah.
And I was a bubbly person,
Yeah.
and I'm a very, like you, structured,
On the ball, yeah.
ball kind of girl. And I find now, Joni, that the people has to adjust,
Yeah.
To you, yeah.
Yeah.
To
To
your
me.
pace,
Yeah.
to your
and they might.
energy.
I'm not sure. They might have to tell me this. Am I going a bit too fast for them? I don't know. But
Okay.
I'm just that kind of
But
person.
you see, it's only a leader who can push people to their full potential. I think
Okay.
it's the right thing to do because people just also need to adjust. As you are adjusting, the congregation will adjust.
Yeah.
Because I think that is how it is. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? Because sometimes we carry the culture of the leader.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Right? Well, culture in.
Yeah,
But-
or vision. We
Yeah.
carry the vision.
Yeah, you carry the
but
vision
you
of-
execute perhaps differently.
Absolutely
Yeah.
so. So I think the vision is still the same,
Yeah.
but the execution changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it did. And you would not be able to lead if you didn't lead as Sylvia.
Absolutely.
No, you can't lead
You
as-
won't be able
as-
to
yeah,
lead
as your husband.
as him. It just wouldn't come
Yeah.
out the same way.
And
would
you're
be
so on
inauthentic.
point with that one because I like to be authentic.
Yeah.
I don't even like to wear the same dress that you wear. That's just who I am. My dress can be a 10 rand dress just as long as it's not the same as Joni's.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
thing. So I'm very authentic in that. And if I have to change anything about me, I wouldn't be Sylvie. And he never used to like my voice. Do you know that, John? He
Your
never
what
used to
voice?
like my voice.
Like a preaching voice. He didn't
Preaching
like
voice or talking voice. He always used to say I was too loudly. And
Oh, okay.
so he never liked my voice. And even when we're in conversation with friends or family,
Yeah, you felt
then,
like you were
then
a
he
bit
had a
loud.
certain thing that he used to show me.
Bietjie laer, bietjie
Kom
laer.
hier af, kom hier af.
That's funny.
And you know, when I used to preach, I never used to look at my husband.
Because you didn't want him to
I
interfere with
didn't
your
want
flow.
him to tell me, be quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
So-
important actually also. It's
Yeah.
the same thing that we spoke about
Yeah.
when we spoke about the ministry, the leadership,
Yes.
and how a woman can. Because you see, what I want to ask you and what I want to get to is because you were the second, it's not the second, but I mean now.
Yeah, you were more in
you were-
support.
you
yeah,
were-
than
you
running
were
on
in
the
support.
forefront.
You were in support, and now all of a sudden you have to take because to
reins.
be
You
the
have to make the
second and to be the
decisions and
first is two
everything.
total different
Yeah,
things.
absolutely.
So you have to make the decisions. You have to deal with the bills. You have to, because you must. You're hands on now. The ministry is in your hands.
Yeah.
Right. So that is why I was saying it is important for us. You know, as first ladies, it's a good example.
Yeah.
You know, that is why I wanted her on the show with us there, but she couldn't come. But hence I'm saying to be the second is a different ball game to be the first. Right?
Exactly.
So now that you are in charge, right? What do you think you should have done differently when you were the second?
That's a good question.
That
You know
is
what
a
I'm
good
saying?
question,
Yeah.
yeah.
In hindsight, what is
Yeah.
your biggest hindsight teacher right now?
I think I had to assert myself more.
Yeah.
I think it would have helped me. I think I should have stood my ground concerning certain things.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up the fact that you have to deal with the bills and the running of the church, you know, and in hindsight, I think I should have just put my foot down on certain things and just also went head on with certain things that I felt. And now that I'm here at this juncture,
Yeah, you can
where
see.
I can see, had I done that, we would have been maybe at a better place.
Yeah.
Not that I say he left me in a bad situation.
Yeah, no,
but
we
there
hear
is
you.
things that could have been done
Yeah, because there are two.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes we operate like there is one, and which means that we lose all the silver we can get, you know?
Yeah. So because it's a real show, what is the regrets?
The regrets that I have now
Yeah.
that is past, or what?
No, regrets in life. You guys being together for so many years, and now you find yourself, you are alone. What is the things that you could have put in place? Why I'm asking this question is
For
not to put
ministry.
you on the spot, but it's to actually help people like us. You know what I'm saying? People out there. What do you put into place to make life a better life when you are alone, when your husband
Yeah.
is no longer,
Okay. The
or
regret,
the partner is no longer?
The regret that I would say I have is, and we were here this way. Maybe you might not identify with Leanne, but I think you can, Joni. Our parents raised us this way, that submission is the ultimate, not only in marriage, but also when you're in partnership, like in ministry and stuff like that. And
I think it was a traditional thing.
it was a
that-
traditional thing,
Submission, and in
and
the church circles,
yeah.
that was submission.
I
Yeah.
think maybe also submission is a principle and it will stand, and
Yeah.
it's an
Yeah.
instruction.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think the interpretation of how
Of
that
it.
needs
The
to be carried out
understanding
of it,
yes,
yeah.
and what it looked like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that has
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
transformed.
Yes.
So you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah, and I think the way that our parents did it was a bit too harsh on us as women,
Yeah.
and hence we took that and we made it as it has to be like that.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes that the actual submission, like you said, it's a principle.
Yeah.
If I could have changed something, then I would have put my foot down, like I said, and just taken charge. We had a very, very, very terrible time in our ministry not so long ago before Bishop passed. And I don't like to talk about it, but it was something negative that affected my children in ministry as well. And I think the biggest regret that I have, because now it's biting me,
Absolutely.
the biggest regret that I have is that I didn't stand up at the time when we faced that situation.
Yeah.
And that situation was so dire, and I'm not going to speak about it because I put it aside and I don't want that to hinder me anymore. I put it aside. The biggest thing, I feel I just had to stand up, stand my ground, get my children together and say, let's fight this thing. I don't care who's on the board. I don't care who the fight is all about, but let's just stand together. And I just let it slip because I was so submissive. And I have a regret. At the moment, my children was very, very active in ministry, Leanne. Very, very, very active in ministry.
Yeah, which is in your parents' heart's desire. who
And at
leads
the
church.
moment, they're
They're
not.
not.
They just like the normal congregation that comes to church,
Yeah.
and I have to get them back into ministry again now. I had to get them functioning in their different callings because they four and they're all unique. Each one of them has been called differently, but so powerful in what they have been called. It has been my motto and my thinking. I always tell this to people. When God calls a man and a woman, He will make sure that His children are gifted to help in the ministry.
true,
no?
And
Okay.
that's exactly how my
First time I
children
heard
were.
that.
Yeah, you see your kids growing up, Leanne.
I'll
Can
tell
you
you
see it
something
already?
funny. I'll tell you something funny. So we launched City Life. City Life is home cells in different areas.
Yeah.
So I'm in Mondio, and my children's godmom is in the West. So
Yeah.
they were with her on a Wednesday, which is where City Life takes place. So the kids go to the West Rand City Life. So it's not where I would have gone to. So the 10-year-old comes to me last week and she says, "Mom, I think I'm called to the West."
Oh, fabulous.
So I hear you now already. Obviously, it was just because it was fun and there was a friend there, you know. But I mean, just the way that it put the terminology on me, you know. I'm called. I feel like I'm called to the West, yeah. And I had such a laugh. But I mean that you say
But don't
that.
take that
is
for granted
no,
as
I'm
well,
not.
eh?
Now that
Yeah.
you're saying that, it's actually quite refreshing. And I even see, you know, Xavier, Evangelique, and JC, and they all also they have their own leanings and
Yeah.
gifting. So it is true. And you know, I'm thinking about what you're saying. And do you know what it boils down to? It it boils down to capacitating yourself.
Yeah.
And it boils down to operating in a function and not just being the tag-along person.
That's exactly
And the
it.
support system.
Yeah, and then
that is
then
it.
you know what, to give administration to what you are saying, because if it's not set if it's not set in paper anywhere, if it's not set with an understanding or a resolution amongst your board, then it's just the way you feel. So I think building those types of structures can protect the spouse, or it can protect
very
the
true,
person there.
Very true. And you
Yeah.
see, we made the mistakes for you guys not to make the same mistakes. And that
Exactly.
is why I'm asking her these questions,
Yeah.
because sometimes we feel that, we have to do whatever the hierarchy says.
Yeah.
Whatever goes. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you're there, you're with your husband on the board, but many times you can't say your say because your husband decided A, B, and C. But now sometimes it is not taken so well when you talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it shows disagreement, but the
Yes.
truth is that it's two different perspectives.
It's too different. It's
Yeah.
different. It's
Yeah.
different. And sometimes it's to your detriment if you keep quiet, if
Yeah.
you silence them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you
know
pay
what
for
I'm
it
saying?
later.
You do.
And
Yeah.
how do you prepare? Because
Exactly.
you have to prepare financially, you have to prepare. You have to prepare spiritually, you have to prepare. You have to
Yeah.
be prepared
Yeah.
that, you know what, we're not all on the face of the earth all the time together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
So one is going to fall away. So how do we prepare for things like that? And I, as I always say, I actually, when something like this happen, I ask myself questions. So what can I learn
From this.
Yeah.
from
Yes.
this?
Yes.
That's why when we're together, I ask her a lot of questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, and I ask uncomfortable questions,
Yes.
and sometimes we talk about it, the two of us. But I take things for myself. I take things away for
Absolutely.
myself,
Yeah.
because I have to learn from the mistakes she made, so I don't
Absolutely.
make the same mistakes.
And you'll be surprised that it's actually a positive thing in terms of learning and sharing and sharing and
Yeah.
learning.
Absolutely.
Because you could see how an ideal could work for you that is happening in another church.
Yeah.
So I think that, the more these conversations don't remain taboo, but they are out in the forefront, the more we can say, you know what, that would have actually been my solution.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
we can learn from it. We can
Yeah.
learn from all of us. All of us can
Yeah,
learn from each
true,
other. In
very
other words,
true, very
I'm
true.
like, that's going to work for me, or I see your learnings in
Yeah.
there, and I'm glad I didn't go down that route. So it's really a give and take and a learning. But I think that historically also, women were taught to kind of keep their stuff to themselves, which is our downfall, which was our downfall. But the more you see, it's like, okay, I'm prepared to be vulnerable and honest about this. So therefore I will get the learning and I will get the
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah.
Because you'll see you'll suckle with something and someone's got the victory in that.
Absolutely.
So
And
how
someone's
does
got
the
the victory and you
congregation
suckle.
accept you now?
Well, I don't have a problem there. I really don't have a problem. Like I said, we were both seniors, so we
Yeah,
did ministry
yeah,
together, so
yeah.
I don't have a problem. I didn't take over.
Yeah.
I just
You just
carried
carried
on,
on.
yeah. And we have something in the ministry that we call the ministry coordinator. So I've been the ministry coordinator for since the inception of our church. So I've been working with our leaders, I've been working with the board. So it wasn't something that was completely new to them.
Hi, I'm Sylvie.
I just carried on with what I've been doing all the years. So I just want to come back to the submission
Yeah,
principle,
okay.
like you said. I don't want any of the guests to think that when you're not submissive to your husband, is it the right word that I'm using now? I don't want them not to be submissive.
Yes,
That's
you
what
want
I
to speak for submission.
I
not
want to
against.
speak for submission, and I want you to know that it has been a positive as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But there's
so.
certain things where you need to
Yeah.
put your foot down where you see that this is going to be the wrong move.
Yeah, this is
So
going to be
I-
detrimental to
That-
us
to
as
us
a family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
submission
that-
doesn't mean doing everything
No,
that
no,
your
it
husband
doesn't.
says.
It
It doesn't.
No, it
And
doesn't.
It's actually quite a beautiful thing
Yes,
once we
yes,
understand it in its
exactly.
essence.
Yeah. In submission, sometimes we take submission as agreement.
Yeah.
And it's not agreement. Agreement is when you agree. When you submit, you totally give yourself over
Right.
to that. And that is the part that I not regret, but where I felt
Yeah, you could have
I
interpreted
could
it
have
differently.
I could have done something differently and just stand up, not being a rebel, not being not submissive, still submissive.
And that's what I say
but,
to.
But, stand my ground, because this is going to affect my family. This is going to affect my children. This can even affect the ministry and their ministries as well, that I felt I should have. I should have.
Yeah, so my phone went. Our time is up, guys. It
My
went
word,
so
so
fast. Yeah, we're actually over our
Not
time.
only up,
So
but over.
it's totally over.
My
It's totally
word.
over. My phone just died on me now, so I can't even see what you wrote. But thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much, Gail, for all your comments, and Eileen and Janita. Thank you very much, guys, for actually just participating in our conversation. Well, we came to the end of the show, and we must greet you and say bye-bye to you. So I'm going to give over to Sylvia just to say bye-bye to you, and then Leanne, and then we're going to kiss you goodbye.
Well, all the kisses, ladies, and everybody else that listens. I'm not sure. I think there is men listening to your show as well, Joan. That's how good it is. So goodbye to you all, and I hope to see you the next time. I think our conversation was just too short, or the time was just too short given to us.
Yeah,
so if
true.
we can take up this conversation again, I would love that.
Yeah,
because
awesome.
like I said, I also learned, and I'm glad that I came to the show, because there were certain hurdles that I need to also get over. And I'm glad that I could get advice from both of you. And Leanne being younger than me, let me just assure you and all the viewers out there that I learn from everybody.
Yes.
I can learn from a 2-year-old if there's a lesson to be learned. So thank you so much for having me, Joan and Leanne.
You're
It's been
welcome.
an absolute pleasure. And God bless you all. Bye.
Bye. Well, I think you were incredibly brave, and it's not an easy
Yeah,
thing.
no, not
And
at
if I think
all.
about the lifetime that you shared with your husband, thank you for allowing
Yeah,
us
true.
just some
Your
scope in it.
vulnerability.
Yeah, it's
To open up,
extraordinary.
yeah.
I think it'll make an exceptional difference in many people's lives. It's sometimes easier to go through something once you hear how someone else overcame it. So thank you for your incredible courage, even with ministry. And I think just continue. I think God's still got a lot that He needs to do through you.
Absolutely.
And then
I receive it.
to the rest of our listeners, I hope that you've enjoyed the series. It's been quite a ride, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
I think quite a ride this month, and it's been exciting and scary all at the same time. But thank you for staying tuned with us, and just continue to click on the Inside Show and continue to share, because we believe that having these conversations do make a difference to people.
Absolutely so. Well, from me to you, I love you and God loves you best. Go with the peace of the Lord. Mwah.
Amen.
In the shadows, as I look upon my life, in the shadows, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams. As I look upon my life, in the shadows, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams.